I know that you were here for a fundraiser, but I have to ask the question: were you looking to drum up support at that time? Were you feeling the waters?
I was in the middle of a reflection that was a fairly serious one about whether or not this was something that I would be successful at if I got into it. But I was still very hesitant, and I hadn't yet had the big conversations over the summer that I needed to have with my wife about going forward. So most of it was just an extension of everything that I've done over the past years, which is getting out and connecting with Canadians right across the country as much as I can.
When you proposed that to her, what was the reaction?
Oh, it was a long discussion about what it takes to be a good parent, and I had, pushed off this idea because I knew that being a good dad for me meant being around as much as I could for my kids, and taking on this task, this challenge would mean, even if I was successful, a lot of time on the road. But through conversations with Sophie, we sort of came to the conclusion that, that's not the only element of being a good parent, being there. You have to make sure you're doing what you can to make the world a better place for your kids, to provide for your kids, to build a future for your kids. And this is what I'm good at, bringing people together and, serving constituents. And for me not to do that might not be consistent with me trying to be the best dad I possibly can be.
Certainly, you're no stranger to being a kid in the political eye. I mean, your dad did a great job of raising you boys.
Yes, he did, but there were also significant drawbacks to that. There was family pressures and times we weren't with him that I had to think long and hard before deciding to do this. But because of my experience with my father, I've been fairly good and will continue to be very good at balancing the work life and the family life. Not because I need to be there for my kids. Yes, I do, but also because it makes me a better politician, it makes me a better person and a better leader eventually, to be grounded and to be able to remember why I'm doing it, which isn't to win, but is to build a better world.
So why jump now? You were hesitant the last time we talked. You weren't sure, and you left North Bay, and shortly thereafter you announced that you were going to run.
Not necessarily shortly. It was months later, many months later.
Felt like days. What was the turning point there?
I realized that Canadians are growing ever more cynical about their politics and are resigning themselves to the polarization of left versus right. Resigning themselves to voting against the parties they don't like rather than voting for a vision that they can agree with, that engages them and involves them. And I realized through my own experience on the ground in Papineau that I was very good at pulling together people and with differences, different backgrounds, different perspectives, and creating a strong sense of community and where we're going. And I realized that I had a skill set because of that, because of other factors that made me, gave me the skills that I think the Liberal Party needs in order to rebuild, and that I think the country needs in order to get away from the divisiveness that has become our bread and butter in politics.
And should you be successful, what do you have to do to rebuild the Liberal Party?
It's very simple. We have to regain the trust of Canadians. And that happens through two things. First of all, connecting with them, going to see people and listen to them and engage with them. And secondly, demonstrate how hard we're ready and willing to work for them. Not for ourselves, for Canada, not for the Liberal Party. And I think once we do that, as we do that, through this leadership, which has a mechanism that has never before been seen at the federal level, which is we're letting anyone who wants to sign up to vote for the next leader of the Liberal Party for free. Just go to the website. My website's a good one, justin.ca, and sign up for free to be a full-fledged voter for the next leader of the Liberal Party. it shows fundamentally that we're willing to trust Canadians, not to keep it a small group of paid up Liberal members, but to say, you know what? Let everyone participate. Let's get it right this time. Let's get everyone involved, and let's show that we need to draw people into politics if we're going to have the capacity to tackle the challenges we're facing. Because band-aids and short-term answers aren't good enough anymore. We need to put our shoulders to the wheel.
Certainly, one factor of folks that haven't been connected in politics for a long time is youth. They are very cynical and somewhat apathetic. How do you reach out to them and get them involved? What are you saying to them that changes that whole feeling?
Well, people tend to say that an awful lot, that young people are apathetic and cynical, and they are about politics, but they are more involved in local community initiatives, school clubs, single issue causes, big international NGOs. They're more conscious of what's going on in the world around them than ever before. They're just not convinced that politics, and partisan politics specifically, are a worthwhile use of their time if they want to make the world a better place. So it's not about despairing that young people don't care. It's despairing because young people care so much that they're trying to get involved in ways that they see are actually meaningful. And the fact that politics doesn't appear meaningful to young people is much more of a condemnation of politics and politicians than it is of our young people. So I'm trying to turn that around and actually engage with, reach out to young people and demonstrate to them their power. The power of the class of 2015, which is the first, the voters who will vote for the first time in 2015, can significantly alter the way politics is perceived, the way politics is done in this country. And that's exactly what I'm trying to focus on and demonstrate to them their power and help them use it.
Are you writing policy out of what you're hearing from youth?
I am writing themes and pulling together the values and the approach that we need. But one of the problems the Liberal Party has had in the past is policy has always been generated by a tight group around the leader, and left to Liberals and Liberal supporters across the country to get out there and put it. So and sell it. We're going to have a comprehensive, robust policy platform, and a very challenging and bold one as well, come 2015. But now it's all about gathering people around, drawing from the experts and bringing in their ideas and talking about what we need to do. I mean, I have some very, very clear, a very clear framework with which I'm working, which is fundamentally Canada is strong and the middle class is strong, and our middle class is suffering. The vast majority of Canadians who work hard for their monies are seeing costs rise, are seeing their income stagnate, and are seeing personal and family debts explode. And that's not good either for our economy or for our sense of who and what we are as a nation, because this country was built on the promise that we could all work together and work hard and succeed. And when it doesn't look like we're succeeding, and mostly it doesn't look like we're leaving more opportunities for our kids than our parents left for us, that's a breakdown of the Canadian dream. And that's extremely destabilizing on an identity level, not just on an economic level. And that's at the heart of what my campaign is all about.